Can't seem to stay away from this book. Somebody better call AA right now. Chapter 3. Staying off the hard stuff for a little while longer. I start my work week tomorrow. Wouldn't do to be hungover the next day. So, chapter 3 of the first book of Nephi. Nice Sierra Nevada pale ale. Good stuff. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, returned from speaking with the Lord to the tent of my father. And it came to pass that he spake unto me. That's Lehi, not God. Saying, Behold, I have dreamt a dream. Gee, why didn't God tell Nephi about that earlier? He didn't need to hear it from his dad. He just got through talking to God, man. Fine. So Lehi said unto Nephi, Behold, I have dreamed a dream, in which the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brethren shall return to Jerusalem. Right after they got there? Couldn't have told them while they were already there? God, these prophecies, they kind of vary in their accuracy, don't they? From really lame to really specific, but doesn't do anybody any good. For behold, Laban hath the record of the Jews, and also a genealogy of my forefathers, and they are engraven upon plates of brass. Pardon me. All right, here's some more questions that come to mind. They're already in Jerusalem. They got to go back now that they've traveled 3 days' journey to go get these plates from Laban that are of Lehi's genealogy, but as we find out later, also Laban's. Obviously, they belonged to Laban. I mean, he was friends with the elders, you know, the priesthood and all that, and he had all these records. Why didn't Lehi have all these documents? I mean, he's a prophet. He's going out and he's talking smack to the Jews, and they're getting mad and seeking to take away his life. And he didn't grab records. I mean, he could have got these documents himself. I mean, he might have been told years before, start preparing these documents because you're going to need to take them, and maybe start putting some things. Sorry, but this is this really. If this were a novel, it wouldn't get published. You know, only as a holy book would anyone publish this, and be incapable of editing it when it desperately needs editing. Wherefore the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brothers should go unto the house of Laban, all the way back in Jerusalem, and seek the records and bring them down hither into the wilderness. See what I mean? It doesn't say Laban stole these records from his family. When I first read this years ago, that's what I assumed. But you know, the wonderful thing about holy books is if you throw a little immorality in there, and it shocks people, but it's explained away as God's will, it kind of deadens things, you know, makes your morality a little more plastic, I think, a little more meldable. And now, behold, my brothers murmur, saying, It is a hard thing which I have required of them. But behold, I have not required it of them, but it is a commandment of the Lord, who isn't making any freaking sense. Seemed like he made them jump the gun back there, you know? And we'll see how ridiculous this is as we keep reading. Therefore, commandment of the Lord. Therefore, go, my son, and thou shalt be favored of the Lord, because thou hast not murmured. Let's skip the page. Therefore, wait. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto my father, I will go and do the thing which the Lord had commanded. For I know that the Lord giveth no commandments unto the children of men, save shall he prepare a way for them, that they may accomplish the thing which he commanded them. Makes perfect sense. You know, he could have just blinked. God could have blinked and they could have had the records. Don't get me started. And it came to pass that when my father had heard these words, he was exceedingly glad, for he knew that I had been blessed of the Lord. And I, Nephi, and my brothers took our journey in the wilderness with our tents to go up to the land of Jerusalem. A pointless backtrack. Unless they'd been there a while. I mean, it said they went 3 days journey and set up their tents and then got a vision. I mean, so it sounds like, hey, now that you're there, can you go back? I forgot my driver's license or something. Why did I set it down? And it came to pass that when we had gone up to the land of Jerusalem, I and my brothers did consult one with another, and we cast lots, who of us should go unto the house of Laban. In the middle of the paragraph. It's like 15 that came to pass in this paragraph. I mean, in this chapter. And it came to pass that the lot fell upon Laman, and Laman went in into the house of Laban, and he talked with him as he sat in his house. And he desired of Laban the records, which were engraven upon the plates of brass, which contained the genealogy of my father, and also Laban. That's a little ahead, but I thought I would foreshadow, because there's a lot of foreshadowing in this book. Just the way Stephen King would do it, just not as good. And it's a novel, you can tell. It was, at least at one time. Probably written by a guy named Solomon Spaulding originally, and then monkeyed with and redone. I got some links to that in a playlist. And behold, it came to pass that Laban was angry, and thrust him out from his presence, and he would not that he should have the records. Wherefore he said unto him, Behold, thou art a robber, and I will slay thee. But Laman fled out of his presence, and told the things which Laban had done unto us. And we began to be exceedingly sorrowful, and my brethren were all about to return unto my father in the wilderness. Another 3-day trip. And behold, I said unto them that, as the Lord liveth, and as we live, shades of like Elijah, Samuel and Kings, Chronicles. That's where that gets used, not more in many other places. Then again, you can't find it. Then it came to pass very often in the Bible. It's not that much, and they're scattered. But then again, I don't think this has any peradventures. As the Lord liveth, and as we live, we will not go down unto our father in the wilderness until we have accomplished the thing which the Lord hath commanded us. Wherefore, let us be faithful in keeping the commandments of the Lord. Therefore, let us go down to the land of our father's inheritance, the place they left originally from. Wherefore, let us be faithful in keeping the commandments of the Lord. Therefore, let us go down to the land of our father's inheritance. For behold, he left gold and silver and all manner of riches. Makes perfect sense. I mean, if he could have taken livestock, which doesn't really seem to say he did. I mean, it sounded like he was sneaking off like a thief in the night, so he couldn't take anything heavy with him. You know, if this were all prophesied, they could have had a little more wiggle room, you know. They could have actually started putting stuff in their new place. Makes perfect sense. For he knew that Jerusalem must be destroyed because of the wickedness of the people. God, if he knows all this stuff, this is terrible. Bad planning. I mean, if this is true, this is one big clusterfuck. And behold, it is wisdom in God that we should obtain these records, that we may preserve unto our children the language of our fathers in Egyptian, and also that we may preserve unto them the words which have been spoken by the mouth of all of the holy prophets, which have been delivered unto them by the Spirit and power of God since the world began, even down to the present time. Couldn't have boiled that down a little more, couldn't you? Sorry. There's like 15 of them in there. And it came to pass that after this manner of language did I persuade my brothers, that they might be faithful in keeping the commandments of God. And it came to pass that we went down to the land of our inheritance, and we did gather together our gold and our silver and our precious things. Did they pick up some wagons or something? I mean, they didn't have They couldn't have carried it. Maybe they loaded up so much. They actually needed a second trip to get this. They planned to get all their shit anyway. That's what it is. They just somehow didn't tell me that, you know. That would make sense. I'm trying to help the Mormon apologists out here. And therefore we had gathered these things together and went up again unto the house of Laban. And it came to pass that we went in unto Laman, and desired him that we should give, that he should give unto us the records which were engraven upon plates of brass. Lots of repetition here. For which we would give unto him our gold and our silver and all our precious things. Okay. And it came to pass that when Laban saw our property, and that it was exceedingly great, he did lust after it, insomuch that he thrust us out, and sent his servants to slay us, that he might obtain our property. That bastard. Now he's not a good guy anymore. Before, you just wanted to take his shit. This time, now, all right. Sound a little stereotypical, you know? This is Shylock. And it came to pass that we did flee before the servants of Laban, and we were obliged to leave behind our property, and it fell into the hands of Laban. God couldn't have told you about that, huh? So you could have avoided that? And it came to pass that we fled into the wilderness, and the servants of Laban did not overtake us, and we hid ourselves in the cavity of a rock. They're always finding a nice cavity of a rock that I did. And it came to pass that Laman was angry with me, and also with my father. Oh, it's just your father now, not his father too. Mr. Goody Goody. And also was Lemuel. Boy, the way they phrased this, you know, seems to be taking up more space than it should. You would have thought they would have found a way to condense it a little. Wherefore Laman and Lemuel did speak many hard words against us, their younger brothers, and they did smite us even with a rod. Bullies. And it came to pass, as they smote us with a rod, behold, an angel of the Lord came and stood before them. That would have been helpful earlier on. God. And he spake unto them, saying, the angel said this. Shades of Homer. Why do you smite your younger brother with a rod? Know ye not that the Lord hath chosen him to be a ruler over you? Shades of Joseph. And you can see why they were kind of resentful now. I mean, did they have to be told that? Besides, he never really was. And this because of your iniquities. Behold, ye shall go up to Jerusalem again, and the Lord will deliver Laban into your hands, which he could have done the first time. Oh, but we got to do that 3 times a charm thing, you know. What a grim fairy tale. And after the angel had spoken unto him, he departed. We get it. And after the angel had departed, Laban and Lemuel again began to murmur, saying, How is it possible that the Lord will deliver Laban into our hands? Behold, he is a mighty man, and he can command 50, yea, even slay 50. Then why not us? That's the stirring conclusion to chapter 3, which is really a preamble to chapter 4, which I look forward to talking about. Peace.